Lights on.
We are a go.
We are a go.
You're doing your double check, triple check?
I was doing the quadruple. You know what I'm going to do this time?
Marston, tell me what you're going to do this time.
I'm going to talk to the mic.
Yeah.
Because you know what I did last time? This.
Well, I noticed that too, where it's like funny moments where I make jokes and I kind of come in right here. Like
it sounds good.
It sounds so good.
I like when you do that.
It's my little close the book kind of concept.
I like it.
Heck yeah, but we're back in the office, back in the corner on another beautiful topic after another very hard and strenuous workout.
I broke your trust again.
Elaborate.
Oh,
you did.
I did a intense workout before our podcast.
Legs before podcast.
Yeah, I did.
I battle. I give so much psychological.
Yeah.
My body.
Yeah.
Can be pushed so hard from the strength of my mind that when I wring that rag out, I got nothing to give sometimes. And I just,
I think that one took us both by surprise, honestly. That one.
It was a good one.
At the end. But today, we want to spend some time having a conversation, a little discourse about nutrition, which is kind of a very all-encompassing topic. Not only kind of, it's really everything that we put into our bodies type of deal. So I do want to come out with a little bit of a disclaimer. This is strictly Jacob and I's interpretation through our own life experience, as well as the podcasts and the professionals that we listen to. This is how we digested the information that they provided, and we are now regurgitating to anybody listening today. So we highly recommend everybody does a little bit of their own research if this is something that interests you, or if you find yourself in a rut, or you want to make some changes, or just kind of anything nutrition related. A couple of the people that we listen to, great guy for neuro and brain health, two of them actually, Dr. Amen. I apologize if it's Amen. It's A-M-E-N, Dr. Amen.
First name Daniel.
Yeah, Daniel. And then we also have Andrew Huberman is a great one. He released like a revolutionizing podcast on alcohol and its effects, not as an attack on alcohol, just as here's all of the knowledge.
Education.
Yeah, education. You make your own choices, but this is what you should know. And then Joe Rogan has plenty of great guests on his podcast. One of my personal favorites is Dr. Rhonda Fitzpatrick. She's a leading expert on nutrition and things like that. So highly recommend listening to any of the people we listed or others as well. But I think Jacob and I are gonna spend some time just going over our own thoughts on nutrition, our own experiences, as well as the state of just modern health and nutrition today, and why what has led us to become probably one of, if not the most sickest, obese nations in the world, I would say.
Well, we're modernizing ourselves, like you're saying. We're trying to make everything easier, more obtainable. But it's hard as well because we have so much knowledge now. It's so beautiful that there's so many different diets. But the biggest thing about it is every person's different. You got genetics. Sure, there's like heavier obesity relates in a family. There's higher heart disease rates. Sure, all of that. There's different allergies. There's different heritage of food that you're kind of raised around. There's just so many different factors where, once again, we've all tried, well, for myself and for you, we've tried different kind of diets, testing on how our individual bodies correlate with different diets. So in the word diet, I don't like the word diet as in I am trying to lose weight. Diet is not lessening. I think dieting is more of control for me. When I hear the word diet, I used to think of it like I'm unhealthy, I need to get healthy. The word diet is almost like have a weight and power over me. Instead, now diet's like a mutual with me. It's an understanding that I'm trying to find a better circumference of nutrition, a better understanding of what my body can take in. In today's science, we have better knowledge of inflammation from foods, from sugars, fats, healthy fats, bad fats. But in today's time, we've really put some horrible energy around the word fats. there's good fats, there's bad fats, there's good cholesterol, there's bad cholesterol, there's good proteins, there's bad proteins, there's everything, there's good and bad of all of it. And the way that we've created pyramid scales and started dieting at a younger age, it's just...
I like the emphasis that you put on the word diet, just because I've also had a problem with that word. It very much resonates with like a program that has an end. So anybody that's probably hired or looked for a personal trainer or work with a personal trainer, it's always, here's the program that you're going to do plus the diet that you're going to do, rather than here are the changes you can make to your lifestyle
100%.
that you can maintain for the remainder of your life.
Here's the way this affects your body in a bad or in a negative and a positive.
I'm a huge fan of the 80-20 rule. That's something that's always really worked for me. 80% of what I put in my body is as good as I can get, and then that 20% can be as junky as I want. Just because, you know,
same.
Yeah, you do have to live your life at some point. You know, you do have to. You can get very caught up in, and I myself have done this, of just trying to excel in every single category, and before you know it, you're not really having fun anymore. You're just in this constant kind of beating of self-development. So, you know, anybody that knows me knows I love pizza. So something I like to do is I get myself a couple big ass
full
pizzas.
You thought he was going to say a couple slices.
Smash them.
This man says couple pizzas. He gets full pizzas. You can't put a bag of candy in front of this guy, otherwise it's World War III.
It's true. I do have a problem with moderation. Yeah. I think that might be something that a lot of people struggle with. But here's another interesting thing about the modern diet is that nowadays, due to the massive hyper-processing of food, satiety is an issue. So
what is satiety?
Satiety. What makes me full? What causes my body to let me know, like, okay, you're good, you don't have to keep eating anymore. So if you have ever sat down at a nice like steak restaurant, you've had like a giant tomahawk steak or even a 16-ounce whatever's enough food for you, you have that, a big heaping pile of vegetables, you're full. There comes a point where you're like, I can't eat any more steak. I physically can't eat this. If I sit down with a family-sized bag of Doritos, Cheetos, or the little Cheez-Its, any sort of snack, hyper-processed food, there's little to no nutrient value. There's no nutrient density in the food. Your body never gets a signal that it's full, and you can just keep consuming these empty calories just nonstop all day.
That's why they also, at some of these other restaurants, like all you can eat or this or that, they put breadsticks in front of you. They want to fill you up before the main property of food that costs them the most amount of money is going to be consumed. So if they can fill you up on bread, you're still going to order all this other amount of food and consumption. But I also like that you said, you were bringing up, when I was training for rugby, and I had to get a certain amount of calories. We'll talk about how I've kind of counted calories before, and then I've gone into more macros. I'll talk about what macros are kind of. But I had this moment where I had to eat so much food, but I couldn't. But I found out my body had around like a 12 to 14 minute window where once I hit that amount of time, my gut told my brain, I'm full. I reached capacity. I used to just eat and drink water for like an 8-10 minute, and I used to just eat food without even looking or tasting it, just in the sense of getting the nutritional factors for the level of fitness that I was outputting, so I could also input the food.
Yeah.
So there's the other side of a coin for that concept in a good and a bad way, on the sense of empty calories, bad calories like that. You just eat them, you don't even get full. While I'm trying to eat healthier calories to a certain amount, and I couldn't even get them down, so I had to like force it down to get my nutrition. But you were talking about in today's time with habits. I asked you the definition of that word.
Habits or the satiety?
Satiety. You were going over satiety. I was letting you go back.
I was so kind of what's on my with the major reason we came up with this idea was just because. So something you said in the beginning that I agree with is that there is a vast amount of knowledge on what you should be eating and what you shouldn't be eating. So many studies.
In today's time, in 2024, sitting here.
Yes, but there's a vast amount of knowledge on plenty of things that I don't know anything about.
Period.
It's available, but I don't know it. You know, if I wanted to go teach myself and learn, I could, but I do not. And I think that's a major problem, is that even though there is a vast amount of knowledge, just like if somebody really wanted to go work out and they didn't know where to start, you can educate yourself and figure out where to start. But most people don't know the right stuff to eat. I see it all the time. I remember working at the Pancake House, and a father and his son were eating, and I asked, "Can I get you guys something to drink?" The son goes, "Can I have a Sprite?" Father said, "No, that's too much sugar. Get an orange juice."
Like last week's podcast.
It's just a lack of knowledge. You're still mainlining sugar. You've taken all the fiber out. It's hyper processed. It's not like you're even fresh squeezed.
I was gonna say fresh squeezed to this Waffle House large company where they're just trying to find the cheapest amount of orange juice that they can mass produce through every single one of their locations so they can make a profit. They're not, well, let's also make sure it's a little healthy for our customers. Not at all.
Right.
It's marketing, man. It's budgeting.
Yeah.
And that's what we've come into with America is how to save a buck and how to satisfy some of these dietary desires. And it's crazy because the brain, people do so much studying on the brain with marketing and with also food and how sugar with that addiction purposes. Yeah. And like sugar, like we were talking about before, everyone's always talking about how watch out for the fats. Watch out for like this dairy. Watch out for sugar.
Yeah. It's almost deliberately hidden, it feels like. Because to me, it's obviously. Sugar is so bad. In your
alcohol, in your juices.
Yeah.
And people don't even go into appreciation. What are you looking at?
I had this like moment because I saw this like cut on the book and I had like this paranoia because I'm so protective over my books. I'm like, what happened? But you're good.
You're okay.
Yeah.
My ADHD needed to know what you were looking at.
I apologize.
No.
That was
we needed to stop this for that. I would not have been. What's behind me right now?
What is it?
No, but yeah, with sugar and everything, it's just crazy where today with dieting in America, everyone wants to make a buck, everyone wants to make money, and we're losing the actual understanding of nutritional factors because we're moving so fast, or we're moving so slow, and we don't want to take the time to cook, to go to the grocery store, to dirty the pan, to eat off the pan, to clean the pan, to take the time to, instead of scrolling through your phone, look at some diet stuff. Go into the doctor, get your blood tested. Oh, it's a little expensive. Pay for it once. Go. Then go for 10 years. Think about, don't diet. Create a lifestyle with little small habits. 80-20. I do that. I eat a healthy, leaner breakfast. I kind of get into, so like yesterday, 4 eggs and like 5-6 baby potatoes, with a bunch of fresh minced garlic and half a red onion. Beautiful. And a snack, I had 4 drummy sticks, 26 grams of protein per them, pull the skin off, lose a little bit of fat, little stuff. Then into my main kind of lunch meal, it was a hefty bowl. And I had that Greek yogurt, raw honey from local Fort Collins, to blueberries, strawberries, blackberries, finished off with pumpkin, granola, and flaxseed.
Nice.
Flaxseed? Yes. High in fiber, so I'm getting some fibers, some natural sugars, some local honey. I'm getting nutrients.
And what is everybody telling you over the past month and a half?
Leaning out, but also my mental health is a little bit clearer. Not as like, oh my God, it's crazy. I'm saying like I can tell I'm having a little bit more statue in me, in my decisions, my clarity, my strength of choices. From that being said, I got so excited talking about my meal. Oh, and then I have a nice little. I don't focus as much on dinner because as long as I know I'm getting in macros, you're counting proteins, carbs, and fats, and it's just kind of like a 3 horsemen kind of. If you can kind of focus on making sure you get enough protein, you get enough carbs, good carbs, not bad carbs, enough for protein, and some fats. Glucoses, ATP, all the energy usage, the scientific stuff going on inside your body is used through those kind of 3 main horsemen. And then if I get those, I eat whatever I want, for my main meal.
Yeah.
I do that every day. And you know what? I live a great lifestyle. Now, if I had something I was trained for, like we have a couple big things coming up, I'd change my diet a little bit cleaner or a little bit heavier to have more calories to burn because we're deciding to start running longer distances or move heavier weights.
So that's another kind of factor to take into place. So what's really good about what you've started to eat is that you're taking a lot of the processing out of it. You know, organic, natural Greek yogurt. Highly recommend you get Greek yogurt with no added sugar. Something to keep in mind. When you're at the store, you go for the Greek yogurt, because you're getting more of the probiotics, the more of the bacteria in the yogurt, which is what's super beneficial to your gut microbiome, which is another huge category and deep dive of information that I highly recommend anybody researching. There's a reason people say trust your gut. A lot of research indicates that your gut is your second brain, and it actually indicates how you feel, how you think, behave, how your body interacts with itself. There's so much that goes into it, and I really don't want to butcher it, but the more you can eat that's going to cater toward the flora in your gut microbiome, the better you're going to feel. And it's super interesting to me that in our country, we spend up to $4.3 trillion a year on healthcare. Yet we are one of the most unhealthy countries, whether it's physically, mentally. Our mental health is in this rapid state of decline. And just in the whole obesity epidemic, yet our first reaction is to get a pill that's going to change the makeup of our brains, rather than saying I should probably change what I put into my body, which will also help change the makeup of my brain. The first reaction is, what's the quickest way I can fix this? I'm going to do a pill. When I eat said pill, I now have to make sure it's the right pill for the right chemical makeup of my brain. And if it's not, I might have to get a different pill to alleviate the symptoms of the first pill. And then I need a third pill to alleviate the symptoms of the second pill. And instead, you could just be eating way too much sugar, drinking way too much alcohol, eating the wrong foods. Everything you're putting in your body is hyper processed, and you're not thinking like, oh, maybe it's because I'm feeding myself with fuel that is garbage, and therefore I'm getting a garbage outcome. The reason I feel like garbage is because what I'm putting in my body is garbage. Mm-hmm. And people don't think about it. They're like, oh, why not have another bowl of Cinnamon Toast Crunch? Mm-hmm. You know, for example, working at the restaurant, there's always a bowl of candy, a bowl of Cheez-Its, a bowl of bread snacks, and a bowl of brownies. Mm-hmm.
Always at
every place of work. Available.
I control my drive-bys.
Yeah. It's tough.
Well, and that's the thing. It stacks, man.
Yeah.
So if like sometimes what I've been trying to do is split up. I've been looking not at my diet, not at the what I'm consuming. Mm-hmm. I don't look at it daily. I look at it weekly. Mm-hmm. Now, it's not like, oh, I can eat 6 days and then have one day, seventh day of eating shitty. It's just like the same as saying I'm not going to drink 6 days and then I'm going to get belligerently drunk on the seventh day. Well, it's still going to trickle. You're hungover on that drunk day for the start of day 1 into day 2 into day 3. Now you're kind of back day 4, 5, 6. Now you're going back to that next day where you want to put too much in of something that you've been not putting anything in. By doing that and eating those unhealthy things, you're slowly affecting your mood, your depression, your sleep, your acne, your skin, your sweating. So if I can minimize my drive-by snacking, that's my big one, drive-by snacking. Or now I've been cutting up a bunch of watermelon. Mm-hmm. I do a lot of celery. Mm-hmm. Celery with Himalayan salt. Stuff where I can have the action of chewing and eating, but not necessarily putting empty, non-nutritious calories in my body.
Right.
And so that's the biggest one. Yeah, work through
those drive-bys. Taking the process out of it. So it's like, yes, sugar will always be sugar, right? But if you eat a bar of Twix compared to if you eat just a piece of watermelon, the amount of processing that goes into both of those things, one has drastically more than the other. Mm-hmm. You're getting more harm from one than the other, even though in the end you're still going to get sugar, regardless. Just like with raw honey. Mm-hmm. Raw honey is amazing. It's got so many different vitamins, minerals, all sorts of things that your body needs, and your body knows what to do with honey. Your body gets raw honey, and due to its evolution and due to our ancestors, our body's like, I know what this is. Sometimes you put shit in your body and it's like, I don't know what the fuck to do with this. Mm-hmm. I have no idea what this is.
It's so processed, it's so
what do I do?
Natural. Yeah. Well, and then if you're gonna get honey, one of the biggest things, always get local honey. Mm-hmm. So if you have allergies and other sicknesses going on, allergies are from pollination in the air. Yeah. Bees are literally pollinating around the air that you're in. If you get local honey, it's a great just immune fighter or antibiotic in a sense, nature's antibiotic to the pollen and everything around you. I love supporting local honey.
Another crazy thing is the amount of chemicals and dyes that go into it. And I know it gets sometimes overwhelming and it can feel overwhelming, but there's a reason that in other countries, U.S. food are banned.
Banned, man.
Banned.
The word banned.
It's literally banned for the population.
Google it. You're going to look at stuff and be like, I have 4 items in my household right now.
You can't get anything with red 40, the dye. Anybody listening, if you're looking at candy or if you're about to eat anything red, look at the ingredients. If you see red 40, it is literally a dye that's been directly proven and linked to anxiety and depression. It literally causes anxiety and depression by eating it.
Well, and also then they put in other ingredients that pull you back to that same item.
It's addicting. It's actually addicting. I remember listening. I don't remember which podcast it was, so please double check. But this woman was talking about. She's a nutritionist. She was talking about. She was doing research on drugs and addiction and what's been like the hardest things to kick. And sugar
Period.
was
number 1
by far and away. Like if we're not including like methamphetamines, one of the hardest things to kick. And if anybody who struggles with reducing the amount of sugar intake can verify this. Like how hard is it for people not to put sugar in their coffee?
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah.
Very hard for people not to
Very
put
hard.
sugar. Well, look at what we've created into coffee.
Yeah.
I'm a black coffee kind of guy. I mean, I do love my caramel lattes here.
So I really like, you know what I've really liked? Or all natural coconut milk is one of the things that I've started putting in my coffee. But even when I'm looking at coconut milk, I have to make sure that the coconut milk's not made with 10,000 ingredients. So
whenever you look at anything, less ingredients, the better. If the only singular thing I'm looking is the main ingredient of the nutrition I'm trying to get out of the item that I'm eating, beautiful item.
Yeah.
Back to sugar. Crazy thing, I remember having this conversation when child is born. Child is crying. And if I remember right, correct me if I'm wrong, in umbilical cord being cut, they used to run a little bit of sugar water on the lips of a baby because at that age, that potency, that rush is something that can soothe and calm the crying and is almost like a pain reliever with the umbilical. I'm mumbling that.
Umbilical cord. You're good. Umbilical cord.
Umbilical.
Umbilical. It's not
umbilical.
like it's getting to it.
No, but even the concept of hearing that, where it's like, when the younger you are, you remember having like, I remember getting sugar rushes on Mountain Dew. And then like, I remember like taking C4, it's a pre-workout, as like a 15-year-old. I'm like, you know what this kind of reminded me of? A little flashback? Having like 6 Mountain Dews for the first time. It's because my body wasn't used to it. That sugar rush, that intensity, that feeling, that addiction was just because I was so young. And now it's just like, what else have we been doing at a younger age where we're absorbing the greatest amount of psychological knowledge, having parents like emotionally affect you, the physical or the consumption of food, how is that food programming your mind and how you should eat? Well, that's why we have a lot of obesity in a young age in America, man. I mean, in adults, it is 68% of American adults are obese.
Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but type 2 diabetes.
No more correct me if I'm wrong. We already said
we might be wrong all the time.
We might be wrong. We're having a conversation.
So type 2 diabetes, the diabetes that it's the one that you've given yourself through the consumption of food. The amount, it's in such a drastic rise. It's a disease that we rarely ever saw 75 years ago. Is now prevalent in young adolescents. Teens have this consistently now. Not only that, but they're seeing a huge uptick in fatty liver disease in teens. This is a disease that 75-year-old alcoholics used to only have. Now we have fatty liver disease in kids. I'm seeing 300-pound 12-year-olds walking around.
I was above 2 at 12, and that's crazy, man. Like, and look at what it is today. But you know what? Like with obesity is a disease. Curable. Is it curable? No, obesity is not curable. It is treatable. It is treatable on understanding, taking the time of getting that blood test, seeing what my body's allergies are, seeing where my inflammation are, seeing where my intake of addictions are, getting that style of fitness, prioritizing. You can treat it. Is it harder for people that have obesity disease? Absolutely. Can you do it? Yes. It is not a matter of, I understand it's hard, and I don't understand the level of having a severe, like a severe obesity disease, but I know it is treatable. And
Do you think it starts with? So I have two viewpoints on it. Right, there's the kids that have no choice when they're little. Might grow up in impoverished families. They don't have the money. The parents can't go out and buy the healthy food. They spend a lot of time in fast food restaurants, and they generate obesity over time. And then by the time they're old enough to make their own decisions, they're already messed up
because they've created habits at such a young age
due
where
to the fact that their parents' lack of knowledge has influenced them, and now they don't know, and here they are now stuck. Now they're obese.
Well, you take what's the average wage in America right now?
Oh,
Like,
for sure.
Like,
And we can get into that.
35, 40. Well,
Well,
that's what's crazy is the price of quality of food today.
Oh,
And where if we
astronomical.
would put the time and effort in America to prioritize higher quality of more nutritious food and output that, America would be crazier. But you make more money off of mass production of something very
Oh, for
easy.
sure.
And like that's the hardest part about it. That's why it's like I see these young kids that are obese and these parents where I can hold a parent and they can be crying and be like, I understand you don't want this life. I understand it's hard because in America everything's expensive.
Yeah.
I understand you want the lifestyle to be able to give treatment to your obesity disease. It's hard, but yeah, it's hard, man. It's
But you
very
know what
sad
else
in
is
America.
expensive? The doctor.
100%. Cancer,
It's tough. I mean, it's
young
like,
age, yeah, enlarged heart.
I think it also goes into the whole delayed gratification thing. In that moment, when you're having a tough day, that pint of ice cream looks really freaking good.
Oh, big chocolate ice cream.
Pizza looks really good because it gives you that rapid dopamine right then and there, but then it tanks. And then you need it again, and then it tanks. Rather than you postpone that, knowing that by eating these foods that over time, when you get in your 40s, your 50s, your 60s, you're going to be better off and you're going to be spending less time going to the doctor, buying prescriptions, buying whatever it is that you're getting at the doctor to try to alleviate the symptoms that you've generated due to your poor life choices or our poor life choices. If you just do that now and you work on that now, you're going to save later, is the idea, at least. But back to the whole obesity is an illness without a cure. So in my head, you have two versions. You have the person that grew up a certain way, wasn't taught the right things, was influenced by their parents, because at that age you really don't have a choice. Like these 200 to 300 pound 10-year-olds, it's not their fault. It's their parents' fault.
And it's also, but it's I don't want to say, so it's like I'm the soft one.
Yeah.
You're very directive,
Yeah.
and it's very healthy in our conversations because it is. I don't think it. Yes, it is the parents' fault, but it's more in the sense of I see it as it's the parents. The parents have the torch in their hand who can make the decision
Yes.
to change.
Yeah.
I just want that output where it's like I don't want to break someone down in the sense of I want to look at them and be like, you have the power
Yeah.
to change this.
Yeah.
And that's the problem where we just.
But I'm saying it's the
Yeah.
parents' responsibility.
It's the parents'
You're just being
responsibility,
nice.
yeah. I am
saying,
being
like,
nice.
You're just being nice and saying like, hey, we understand that you love your kid. Please don't take this as like you're the reason your kid's fat. But you are the reason your kid's fat. You just don't have the knowledge to know that what you did caused this.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have the parent doesn't. Maybe it's a parent that's like, I don't have the funds, or I thought this was healthy, because if you look at food pyramids and you look at marketing, if you go to a new store, everything leads you to fat free. Everything leads you, but nothing talks about sugar. Like corporations don't want you to eat healthy. If you eat healthy, then you don't go to the doctor.
Well, where did it happen? Because like you look at, I think it was JFK when he was presidency.
Yeah.
When they started the American high school physical testing.
Mm-hmm.
When they started that,
Yeah.
did you see some of those old videos of those high schoolers
Yeah,
back in
they
the
were
day?
jacked.
Well, it's just like their body weight movement. They're able to climb over like 12-foot walls, hike, like pull-ups, monkey bars, all this other stuff. Where, what was that, 60s?
Yeah. But also there was a way less processed.
That's what I'm saying.
process going on.
When did all of that, like, was it the industrial era and everything when we just started really factoring out all these foods? Because it's like, if anything, we're in this era now where we're in the transition period, the icky period, where we have to have the conversations with parents of, you're the one making the decision, you have to change this. Now, we're in this woke time. We're seeing it.
We're also in a very acceptance heavy
I
time.
know. So now I'm like, where, how can we move forward? And how can we be educated? We're being educated now in the sense of, look at us, look at everyone, look at the numbers, look at the percentage.
You have to, in order to move forward, there has to be a compromise, right? I get in so much trouble for comments like these.
I know.
But we were literally just listening to an Eminem song talking about obesity in America. and how
Say it.
there are people very body positive.
Yep.
Can we make wider doors?
Yep.
Can we make roller coasters more accessible?
Mm-hmm.
Can you make bigger clothing?
Mm-hmm.
Not can you eat better?
Mm-hmm.
Can you exercise? It's, well, this is how I want to live my life, so change for me. And it's hard because it's like, it's a free country. If you want to go be obese and be fat, go be fat.
If you tell me you're happy,
If
I'll
you're
be happy for you.
Be happy, but
how do we get to here?
But at the same time, now you're complaining to me because the world doesn't fit you. All right, this is what you wanted. You want to be like this?
Yeah, if they love if there's an amount of love, 100%. But are you trying to get at?
It's tough because I'm trying to talk about where do we go from here. And if you're a parent, it's like, okay, I want my kid. Well, my kid wants to be fat and eat ice cream. Okay, well, you're reducing your kid's life expectancy. Okay, well, like that, your kid is probably gonna have a really hard time playing. You're limited. You know, if you were one of my best friends and you were 400 pounds, would you have been able to do that 14er with me?
No.
Probably not.
Would I have wanted to do the 14er with you?
Maybe not.
Probably not.
Probably not.
Would
probably
we
wouldn't be doing
as,
the same thing.
We wouldn't be as close as friends because, well, that's the thing. It's like our energies are brought together.
Yeah.
Same style, desires of dieting, same styles of goals. Mm-hmm. So if I was a heavier set friend, I wouldn't want to probably do that. And I wouldn't be able to accomplish it. And also, if I did decide to do it, I'd probably wake up a little bit.
Yeah. It's funny you say that. One of my good friends from a long time. I used to play League of Legends with him all the time. Mm-hmm. Great guy. We used to hang out, and he got big. Mm-hmm. He got big from when I knew him, and we were talking a little while ago, and he's like, Marston, I started working out today. And I was like, nice. Like, what happened? He goes, I stepped on the scale, and the number I saw, I can't unsee the number. Mm. Mm. And he was like, I'm going to the gym every day. I can't unsee the number. And I was like, hurt.
Well, and that's the thing out of this for me is like I have family that is overweight, a little heavier. Mm-hmm. I have a lot of close friends, and I don't necessarily want to say to them, your life is beautiful.
Yeah.
Life is so beautiful. You're doing great.
Yeah.
You're doing wonderful. It's your choice, like you said, but I want to give the knowledge, the little small steps, mm-hmm. the habits of how we've educated ourselves through modern diet today on how to create a platform of little wins mm-hmm. that can, when you start doing little healthier nutritional factors, then you go, you know what, I'm feeling good. Maybe we should go for a walk today. Mm-hmm. And then this natural feel, you know what, I did a walk. Now I'm hungrier again. I'm mm-hmm. burning more calories. Oh, I've surrounded myself with healthier drive-by snacks. Now, you're focusing on your meals. You're like, okay, I'm feeling a little bit better. I've been having healthier little snacks. I'm still having that motion of eating that I've been normalizing. Now I'm prioritizing 2 nutritional meals a day. When I get to the dinner, I'm like, I want chicken Alfredo pasta.
Yeah.
Eat the chicken Alfredo pasta. But it's showing that...
That's your 20%.
That's your 20%. And showing that is where I want to reach people who might be listening to this that... are more overweight, or people who have friends that they're trying to say, I don't know how to talk to them and reach to them. It's just, they're living a beautiful life. It's wonderful. I just know that their life their brain would be healthier if they put in
everything
better. Everything would be better. Everything.
Your body isn't, I mean, there are bigger people. There are people that are big, you know, Vikings. Mm-hmm. Just bigger, like strong men, strong women, just mm-hmm. big people. Mm-hmm. They're not fat, they're big. They're just bigger. The body isn't necessarily designed to just like hold hundreds of pounds of just skin and fat. You know, and what's tough, and let's go back to the 60s where those black and white videos of gym classes
are like
what the army heck? Training gym classes.
Like
that doesn't exist anymore. But also keep in mind, back in that time, food was less processed. Mm-hmm. There were no iPhones.
Yeah.
There were no video games.
People are hanging out outside.
People are outside doing stuff. Way more active. Here's the sad reality. The skinnier you are, the skinny people, or the more fit you are, the more active you are. The bigger you get, the more sedentary you get. You move way less. So as you go down this trend, so does the trend of you moving and doing things. And then it just expedites the whole process. It makes it even harder because now you have to, it's like climbing uphill. It's like pushing a boulder uphill to try to get back. It's hard. It's not easy. And then a lot of the time, it's like people wake up one day and they're like, how did this happen? How did I get like this? You don't realize the amount of the small increments, the amount of drive-bys you did at the restaurant where you grabbed a brownie and you ate it, the amount of cheese that you had, the amount of times you refilled the Pepsi machine, soda. There's like 60 grams of sugar in a Coke.
It's my dagger.
You know what I mean? Like in a one can, 50 to 60 grams. It's like 3 times your daily allotment in one can.
And you don't want to know, like, so here's a little trip I had yesterday. Yeah. I'm eating my food and I'm looking to grab water. I'm like, you know what? Sprite's clear, you know.
Yeah, I'm hit it.
I'll do some Sprite today,
yeah.
Not my Dr. Pepper, and it's just like, you know, it's a little clearer. I was lying to myself in the sense I'm like, you know what? I literally told myself if it's clear, it's like soda water.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna feel as bad. So I'm not gonna break myself down because when I'm having Pepsi all the time. Because the thing about it is, it's not like, oh my god, I had a Pepsi. It's if I have a Pepsi, I have like 3 pints of Pepsi, and it's not like, oh, I'm just gonna sip on it during a meal. I'm like, I'm gonna kill it because I've been working my butt off during my shift, and I'm like, I'm craving some sugar.
Also feels good.
Yeah, it feels good.
And part of the reason it feels good, so when you get that sugar intake, the sugar goes down into your gut. In your gut, since this is why when you're super full, you can eat dessert. So when you eat sugar after you're super full, your gut is like, yes, I want. This is like, because back way back when we talk about like Paleolithic ancestors, when you get something sweet, that's rare. It's not like you're walking around finding sweet things all the time. So your gut's like, oh, quick, get more of that. This is a rare instance. We're not going to get. Your gut doesn't know you live in modern society. Your gut's
so
like,
crazy
this
how
is
it's
new.
Programmed like that.
Yeah, you're literally through evolution programmed like, hey, this is rare. Get more. While you have it, while you're here and you're not being chased by some sort of lion, get more of these berries.
As you talked about the paleo kind of time,
yeah.
If there's any kind of like diets that that we've had conversations on, there's like carnivore, there's pescatarian, there's vegetarian, keto, paleo.
Yeah, that's more of a lifestyle, honestly.
100%. I think paleo is a very good grounded.
It is.
Lifestyle diet.
It's just expensive.
It's expensive, and it's the most nutrient filled.
Yeah, well, because all you're eating, you eat meat, vegetables.
Back it up. What is the paleo? Like, what era was that again? Before?
It's way before the Industrial Revolution.
So it's
like before anything man-made.
Canned and processed.
Yeah, if it's man-made, you can't have it. Mm-hmm. That's the whole concept. So it's completely unprocessed. But, I mean, through the use of organic, like, natural ingredients, you can make, like, paleo muffins. My mom used to make paleo muffins and stuff all the time. But keep in mind, sugar is still sugar. So here's the thing. This is where people get into trouble. People are like, you know, I'm vegan or I'm this, I'm vegetarian. And then all you end up eating is, like, pasta and marinara sauce and cereal. And you're like, well, I'm vegan, I'm healthy. It's like, no, you're still... If I'm eating paleo, but all I eat are berries and apples all day... it's still way too much sugar. The best thing you can eat is just heavy on the protein and fats, heavy on meats and fats,
and then get a proper carbs in.
Get
not
your veggies,
necessarily.
But even with the carbs, you and I need carbs because we work out in a very intense way. Somebody that's sedentary that doesn't have to move as much, all they need are meat and fat, dude.
Just get those fruits.
That's all. Too. Yeah, if they want to. They don't even, in some veggies, get your vitamins. Because here's the thing, there's 40 essential micronutrients that you can only get through the food you eat. And these things affect how your body operates. Without them, like omega-3 fatty acids, without them, your body's not going to function.
Well, that's where the energy process goes and like how it's burned down through like ATP and glucose.
You want to hear something crazy?
Tell me something crazy, Mark.
I'm going to tell you something crazy. There is if you put a line for a health graph with the effect of smoking and being deficient in omega-3 fatty acids, it's the same effect as smoking cigarettes on your body, like detrimental wise. By not getting your omega-3 fatty acids, you're doing as much harm as like smoking cigarettes.
That's why I'm saying if there's something to prioritize in like this year, it's getting a blood test. Just seeing what you know and then basing a style of nutrition diet around it.
Yeah.
And then 80-20 process. If you can just get those steps,
Yeah.
tell me what you feel like in 365 days.
For sure.
When you come back. And my wife is pescatarian.
Yeah.
And so I've done a month, 2 months, like a week at a time. And it's funny because she'll be like, hey, try go pescatarian for a week or fully vegetarian. And when I do it, I have this moment where I'm like, oh, my sleep's better. My energy's so good. I was like losing weight and I was toning down. I was tightening it up. But it was also because I'm not getting as much protein in, because it was harder, because I'm getting a lot of essential amino acid proteins compared to just like animal-based protein product is one full. Through vegetables though, 2 different ones equal the same as one protein, one animal-based protein. That's hard because you have to eat so much more. Now, it's very easy. It's possible. A lot of very fit human beings out there are fully vegetarian, fully.
Sure.
But you know what they do is they got their blood tested and they take capsule nutrients and they take vitamins, stuff to make up for what they're missing.
They also eat a ton of vegetables.
Lots of vegetables. That was the biggest thing, like
Nuts and
fiber
seeds. Yeah.
and everything. That's why every single time I've done that with my wife, she would love if I did it forever.
Yeah.
I just feel so much healthier and natural. And I'm like, oh my God, what's working? I'm getting my nutrients. That's all it is.
100%.
So now I live a way better nutritional life because I was educated trying to go pescatarian for moments of time because my wife suggested it.
Yeah. But what's awesome about what you're saying, and what I think a lot of people have a hard time with, it's like no matter what diet you do, they can all work if you just get rid of the processed. Like it's like well, I'm vegetarian. Well, then stop eating processed stuff. Stop eating 10 bowls of pasta. Don't get me wrong. I think pasta is delicious. 80-20. I eat 2 26-inch pizzas at one sitting. It is not healthy. It's dairy, bread, and bacon and jalapenos that I throw on it.
That was all processed.
Super processed. There's my 20. But I love pizza, so I'm going to eat it. And I like doing it. So every once in a while, I go ham on some pizza.
Instead of making a cauliflower crust.
Yeah,
with,
no, I want pizza.
Oh, no, yeah, I know.
I'm a Ninja Turtle friggin' with the orange headband. What's his name?
Oh, Donatello? No, that's not Donatello.
Leo, Michelangelo. Is it Michelangelo? No, it's the red one. Donatello's the purple one.
We can't. We got to go back to the podcast.
We're going to go back. But what the beautiful thing about what you're doing, pescatarian, no matter what you're eating, the people that are eating the dark leafy greens, I recently learned the other day you should include 30 different types of nuts and seeds. So something I've been trying to do is I do a handful of Brazil nuts a day. I do a handful of almonds a day. I do a handful of cashews a day. And then I'm working on getting walnuts in there. I don't enjoy it. I'm not like, yes.
Plain raw, unsalted.
Nuts. This is what I want. But I feel better.
Dude, that's why I mix in with the Greek yogurt with some fruit, so you got a little bit of like moisture and
100%.
sweetness.
But I'm just, and don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing on Greek yogurt or fruit. I used to do the Greek yogurt fruit thing all the time. I think it's great. It's just for me, what I've been doing for myself recently, what I've been eating has been feeling so good that I'm just like, okay, I don't need to go get the Greek yogurt. I feel good. I've been doing twice a day.
Share your meals, man. It's nuts.
Twice a day. I just do.
Big boy.
I get white rice. I just fill the bottom of a bowl with some white rice. I don't weigh it out. I do, depending on how intense I work. Today, I'm going to do more.
I'm going to eat like a freaking king.
I'm going to eat a king. I do a pound of turkey, or I do a pound of chicken thighs, whatever it is. I do usually 5 to 6 eggs. I do a whole onion, red or yellow, depends. And then what other vegetables? Sometimes I'll throw some jalapenos in there.
Jalapenos are huge for men's health as well.
Love doing jalapenos. I pick 3 vegetables, I dice them up, and I throw them on top. I've been doing portobello mushrooms, and then my bowl ends up being like this high, and I top it with my 6 eggs, and I eat all that, and I'm good for 5 hours. And then before I go to work, I have my green powder. Sometimes it's depending on. I'm trying different ones right now. It's Primal Greens, AG1 or Athletic Greens is something I've tried before.
I love my greens.
It's just expensive, so you know.
Hey, but drinking is too.
Yeah,
and dipping.
It is. Yeah. So
that's why it's
we
like
can get into that.
When we've had conversations about backing up, with like, I wanted to back out of my drinking. Didn't drink for a couple months. Like saving all this money for you to. You even if it's like you're in the service industry, right? You go out to grab a drink, it's $12. Let's say plus 3 tip, you're spending $15 5 times a week times 4. You're spending $300 a month
on alcohol
for a short bus.
Yeah.
That's not also the days that you decide to get a case of beer and watch the game.
Yeah.
Go out. So let's just say $300.
Yeah.
I would love to put $300 into a 90-minute full body massage.
Mm-hmm.
I got my place. They're absolutely one for me. They would just kill it. And then put into better greens.
Yeah.
Put it into maybe a little more whole foods. Going to the local farmer's market and getting that local honey.
Mm-hmm.
Getting some of those other vegetables. You understand? Americans only consume like 5 vegetables.
Dude, when
When we used to farm, we used to
Crazy.
have like 60 different vegetables we were always eating. Now it's just like base ones. What? Asparagus,
Yeah.
Brussels sprouts.
Also,
broccoli.
a lot of the time it's like iceberg lettuce.
Yeah.
It's
You know
like-
some of that's fake?
Yeah, like
They can literally put it and they like put it into this liquid base and they can make artificial fake lettuce.
really? I didn't know.
Look it up.
I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know. Another thing is water.
Mm-hmm.
People are dehydrated. People do not drink enough water. Instead, it's always like a sugary drink. Everybody walks into work with some sort of like Starbucks unicorn latte.
Monsters
Or
and
a
Red
pumpkin
Bulls.
spice. Dude, the Red Bulls, my God, man, the amount of Red Bulls I see is
Why can't just black
insane.
coffee? Just drink black coffee.
Or
with
just,
me.
you know what you could do? If you really need the 10,000 milligrams of caffeine, go get a caffeine powder and put it in some water.
Well, we were just talking about.
You're good.
Nope,
Things.
it's gone.
You want to segue into alcohol?
That's what I wanted to talk
segue into
about.
alcohol? Like, so this is why I think this is such an interesting conversation. You drink.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yep.
I have one thing to say before we go into alcohol.
And
It's going to be quick.
It's part of the diet too.
Yeah.
So
It's going to be quick. It's going to be quick. This was a huge turning point for me when I was a kid, and why I don't I don't necessarily drink soda. I love soda as a kid. It's sugar. Why? Who wouldn't like it? My dad was in the garage, in the barn at the time. He was cleaning rust off his. It was either his bike or his lawnmower. He was cleaning rust. Instead of using some sort of chemical I've never seen before, he busted out a can of Coke.
Oh, yeah.
And he poured it on the rust.
one of the greatest
and
cleaners.
Started and I was like, "Are you using Coke to clean rust?" And he goes, "Oh, it takes it right off."
Right
and
off.
I look at him. And he goes, "Yeah, what do you think it does to your stomach?" And I was like, "I'm never drinking Coke again. I'm never drinking Coke again." But anyway, back to
No,
alcohol.
that's a really good one to talk about though,
Yeah.
because seriously, man, like with soda and everything like that, the potency and the acid that's inside, they literally put a form of acid.
Dude,
There's literally
you ever
acid
see the
in
experiment
Coke.
where they drop teeth into Coke and
Yes.
they leave it there and they disappear overnight,
Yes,
and people wonder why they have dental problems.
that's why it's the most expensive. Do you want to say? I remember what I was gonna say.
Say it.
You go.
You
You
go.
go first.
Yeah, you're
Well, it's just like I was listening to this little. It was real on Instagram, and this guy was talking about how like he quit drinking, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I quit drinking." And you know what the craziest thing? Everyone was asking me like, "Why?" It was just like, "Is it? Did you have a drinking problem? Did you were you like belligerently drunk all the time? Is it health purposes? Are you sick? Like what's going on?" He goes, "I just decided to not put poison in my body." He's like, I never had a bad problem with it. He's just like, I just couldn't comprehend the fact of why I'm searching for a small little buzz for a social time. I enjoy my friends without the buzz. It's just like I enjoy my time at this football game without this alcohol consumption. And he goes, you know what the craziest part about it is? I'd ask people, it's just like, why don't you drink, like, why don't people be like, why don't you drink more water? I don't know. People never talk about that. It's just like people don't drink water anymore. And it's also things to absorb the new, like we were saying before, water, Himalayan salt with lemon, electrolytes that are absorbing the hydration. And so you're being more hydrated through natural electrolytes. Yeah, dude. I don't know. I just thought it was funny not funny. I just thought it was very powerful where today's society and how much we talk about.
Oh, dude, society's relationship with alcohol blows my mind.
Like everywhere,
It
and
blows
especially
my mind.
America.
Oh, yeah. The world's relationship with alcohol, but especially American culture with alcohol, absolutely blows
Have you
my
ever
mind.
looked up how to make whiskey? Do you understand how much sugar is put into making alcohol?
Oh, I
Alcohol
believe.
is like fumigated sugar.
Well,
Like
just in general, alcohol is a poison.
Mhm.
It
Oh,
actually
period.
kills you when
Yeah.
you drink too much of it.
Yeah.
It literally ends your existence. And people are like, it's cool. We do a pre-shift where we all get around and we sip on poison to talk about how it tastes.
See, now I
Yeah.
am an advocate of there's poetry, there's
Yeah.
beautiful thoughts of, there's an artistic
Mm-hmm.
route to crafting beautiful different flavor profiles tequila. I have, in a sense, yes, been normalized around it. Now,
Yeah.
is it good? No. Is there other things in the world,
Yeah.
like putting processed pizza in your body, 2 of them at one time? It's like, okay, let me just sit down and drink this 6-pack of beer.
Yeah.
I just like can get a little. It's just like everyone has their niches and nicks and knacks. There is beauty behind alcohol. There is a wonderful craftsmanship. There's art. Like that's what I wanted to get at. Is it good? No.
Yeah.
For you? No. Does it taste good? Yeah. Is there moments in life where there a nice, beautiful glass of red wine with a nice red steak? Oh my god.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I've
That-
had red wine with Shelby.
That
before.
is
I'm not-
like my bread and
You're
butter.
like, that's my
that,
thing!
I could never take that away
Yeah.
from myself.
Yeah.
But I have really been, especially with
Yeah.
your support, because you always are so respectful with me and not saying stop drinking or this or that. You're very intense on a lot of things, but you're always respectful of that. You're just, I know what you want.
Yeah.
I know that you don't want that, and you hold this energy for me where I decide not to drink the way that I used to before we've created this foundation of the kind of men that we want to be
Yeah.
and kind of grow into. And drinking
Mm-hmm.
to the normal way that Americans and other friends have created, it's not as shiny as it used to be to me anymore.
And it's tough because like I love you and I want you to do whatever you want to do, and I love. I mean, I like if people want to drink. I don't care. I just find it interesting the
Mhm.
way it's been framed and marketed is so interesting to me. Don't get me wrong. When Shelby and I go to Rare and we get like a steak and some wine, I like it too. I've actually enjoyed a nice glass of red wine or dessert wine, ice wine. I
Port.
really like port. It's all really good. I can appreciate it, but I know what I'm doing. Like when I'm drinking it, I'm looking at it. and
So
I'm like-
conscientious with
I'm
yourself.
Like the way this right here, yes, the way it was made, it's very artistic, and I totally get it. But it's so there isn't a benefit. There's not a single benefit. Like it's really in that moment you're gonna feel good. You're gonna get a buzz. You step 1 inch over that line, you become a belligerent, sloppy, molasses thinking mess.
Well, and then it's what I'd love and be interested is hearing, seeing you put some educating yourself or some research on like when you have a nicer wine, a nicer whiskey, nicer tequila. They do such a good scientific job on extracting a lot of bad gases and other stuff that you need to when you're creating alcohol.
Yeah.
And that's why the cheaper ones, you're on your ass and like you're so hungover the next day.
Yeah.
I mean, you go to France, you drink some of this nice wine like water.
Oh, yeah.
And you wake up, you're like, why am I not hungover? Because they take the time to prioritize having it more natural, having more healthier. Not healthier. I don't want to pair healthy with alcohol, but I don't know how I'm trying to say this. It's
You're trying to appreciate. You're appreciating the amount of time and effort that goes into the craft of creating craft drinks.
and something not as bad as
Yeah.
the shittier stuff that
You're
has
also
a
somebody that
whole-
spends a lot of time in craft breweries. You appreciate it more,
I
which is
val-
why it's a good conversation.
100%.
It's a value, and I'm not taking that away.
Oh, no,
The
no.
amount of
I don't
effort
feel
and
that way.
time that goes into these, I can totally appreciate that. If I ever go to Europe, I'm gonna drink wine.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna try it out, and I've been to wineries. Like I've enjoyed it. The whole experience is cool. I'm just saying, the way it's framed and the way it's marketed,
It's disgusting.
it's gross.
It's horrible.
It's terrible.
It's like the man. Literally, like, that's where
Well,
I
think
go.
about it. How can you hold your liquor? I can hold
Yeah.
my it's a good thing that
Yeah.
you can drink like 20 drinks and you're proud of it. That you can create a wizard staff out of a 30 case and you're proud of
Yeah.
that. It's like
I've been
it's-
a wizard many times in my life.
And I went to college too. Dude. People think like, oh, you've never had a good time. No, I understand that if you ever go out with a night with the friends, alcohol can add some value. You create good memories. It's fun. I understand. It just takes that one. The amount of deaths related to alcohol in the United States, the amount of injuries, the amount of mistakes that happen with alcohol.
The amount of toys and responsibilities on the sense of guns, knives, cars, the stuff of accessibility that we have today, and yet we can also go buy a handle of alcohol. It just
a handle of poison.
yeah,
Where if you drink the whole thing, odds are you need to go get rushed to get your stomach pumped.
dude.
But it's got a cool label. And look, let's say you got Legal in Yeho. Great tequila. You know,
One of my
mezcal,
favorites.
it's great. You sell it to everybody. It tastes amazing. Drink 2 of them.
yeah,
What's going to happen? You're going to die.
like 2 what?
2 full handles.
Yeah, not glasses. Yeah,
Yeah, 2 handles. What's going to happen to you?
yeah.
If I eat 2 to 3 large pizzas, you know what's going to happen to me? I'm going to have a really
So
large
can
stomach ache.
you drink too much water and die?
You can drown yourself.
Yeah, touche.
Yeah.
I was trying to get the other side of the
You know?
coin. Not justifying that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like, there's a point of overconsumption of many things that can bring death. Yes, 100%.
But what you're doing is you're reaching for, like, if I go in massive excess in this direction, alcohol, the poison itself will kill you.
100%.
High concentrations of alcohol will kill you. It's like, yeah, sure. I mean, if I try to gorge myself to the point where my stomach explodes, yeah, I'm gonna die. But it's not the fact that pizza is killing me; it's the fact that I'm an idiot. You know? Yeah, pull me back. Where are we going?
Modern diet.
Yeah.
Had a nice little conversation about what we kind of see what it is in America today. Kind of seeing how America had a great foundation and how it's been since the Industrial Revolution's gone to shit. Into kind of a couple diets that we've enjoyed ourselves, and how we've eaten and how it's benefited us, how countries outside of America have been banning our food, to now the consumption of alcohol, where it's not even, don't even look at it as in the sense of alcohol getting drunk. I look at it where I go, we just got done talking about how bad sugar is for you.
Right.
When alcohol is all sugar.
True.
And so if you don't even want to look at it in a sense of, like, because sometimes people can get defensive with alcohol. So I try to find different ways to look at it.
Yeah.
Okay, don't look at that. Look out, if you're confident when hearing us talk about sugar, alcohol is like 80% sugar. Let that kind of resonate to help you taper back away from it in a sense.
True, but it's also the effect that it has. So, like, for example, if I were to ask you at what point, so like a weekly allotment of alcohol before you start seeing negative effects, what would you say?
One more time. Hit me.
So you have a weekly allotment of drinks you can have.
Mm-hmm.
Once you go past it, this is when you start seeing negative effects. And we can go into what the negative effects are. There's 2 primary ones, but let's just start here. If you have a certain amount of drinks, and I'm just talking average drinks, let's just say an average pour of wine a week. How many glasses can you have before, and this is in a week, before you see negative effects?
I mean, you want to know the scientific answer?
Yeah.
4.
2.
I know. I knew.
2.
I wanted.
I know.
I wanted a couple more glasses of wine.
Give me something. So it's just tough.
But that's because 1 glass of wine a week. There is beneficial stuff. Now, also, I honestly have heard a glass of red wine a night, 1 glass wine a week is good for heart health. Have you heard that before?
Yeah.
So I'm like, have we normalized that? Or
no?
doctors are saying that.
People who drink look for reasons for why it's okay.
But why are doctors saying that?
Why aren't doctors telling people what to eat?
Because they want to get money through pharmaceuticals.
So let's just be honest. So
chess.
You know what I mean? Well, not even like I'm not trying like.
No. That's the beautiful part about our conversations.
Yeah.
It's intense in the way of we're so passionate in this.
Everybody wants to look for a reason for why what they're doing is okay.
Yeah.
I want to have fun, and that's fine. Go have fun. This is not to be like, hey, screw you, don't drink. But when people ask me like, oh, you don't drink, party, like it's like, look, after you go past 2 glasses or 2 drinks a week, alcohol literally starts to shrink the gray matter in your brain. You lose neurons, and that's after 2.
And you can't gain those back.
That's after 2. Dude, they're gone.
There's
lose gray matter in your brain. There's a reason why when
you can lose muscle and gain it back.
Yeah.
Your brain, you can't.
Yeah. 1 drink. You ever hear of a Whoop strap? The strap. There's these really intense straps you put on that monitor your sleep. So anybody with a Whoop strap can tell you.
I think I did because they also do the chest ones as well.
Yeah, they're very in depth.
They're very expensive when I looked at them.
They're specifically to monitor sleep. Sleep is so important. We don't put enough priority on it. I could sleep when I'm dead. Well, you're gonna be dead pretty soon if you don't sleep. You need sleep. You literally can't go without sleep. You need it. There's a reason why through evolution you would think if it wasn't important, our bodies would have gotten rid of the need to sleep for half our lives.
Mm-hmm.
You need to sleep. One drink disrupts your sleep immensely. One drink. That's all it takes. One drink.
Well, and we're also talking about one drink also closer to when you go to bed. Because there is that moment, let's say you had a glass of wine around like 5, a nice earlier dinner.
For sure.
Now, you finished it by 5:30.
Yeah.
There is a time of processing where your body can burn off that alcohol content where it will not affect as greatly your sleep.
Yeah.
And that is a real thing. And so that's other parts where I tell myself, if I have enough time in between having a nice glass of wine with the wife going out to dinner,
For sure.
you have time to burn off. Now,
Let's just be honest, though.
that's another excuse, like we were just saying.
Yeah.
I'm finding stuff to help my butt. It's like, if I'm going to live a lifestyle in this, where's the equilibrium? Where can I
Right,
have
you're trying to. Well, here's the thing: 80-20, dude.
80-20?
If you want to go have a drink, like, when are you really gonna drink? At night, after work, when people have a stressful day and they just want to lay back and go to the bar and hang out with their friends and have drinks. It makes sense. So people aren't like waking up like, you know what? I gotta make sure I drink right now because if I drink before bed, I'm not gonna. No, everyone's like, man, work was stressful. Today was stressful. I'm gonna deload and relax and have a drink. I'm gonna go to a party and have a drink. It all happens at night. So yeah, I agree with you, but it's still like, when are you really gonna be drinking? You know, unless you have the day off and you're chilling with Megan at the brewery and you got plenty of time and you're gonna go play some frisbee or go for a light jog.
See, but the problem is, I can tell you, we can have the conversation,
Yeah.
and then we go and we have a drink, and then next thing you know, I'm like, well, I've had a drink today, might as well have another drink.
You know,
That's the problem.
I'm already doing it.
I'm already doing it. Why
keep
not?
And then somebody comes and meets up. Hey, you want to get a drink? And it becomes you're at 4 or 5 drinks in, and then you got to work out, and you're like, yeah, I feel today. Like especially when you really start to prioritize it, and you go. For example, I could challenge anybody to try to go 3 to 6 months, half a year, no alcohol. See how you feel, and then go back, and see how you feel. Like, and it's not me trying to tell people live your life. I'm gonna do.
But
it
also,
works
if you
for
have this long duration of life,
yeah,
what's 3 months?
literally try it out.
And then when you feel
Yeah,
the frustration,
Yeah.
the excuses, look at yourself in the mirror and be like,
Whoa.
holy cow.
Yeah.
Like, look at this way I've been talking to myself. Look
Yeah.
at this uncomfort, this itch I've been feeling. Like, and yeah, I mean, we battle it every day with everything, man.
So if I were to say anything, and honestly, like seriously, like this is just I
For modern diet,
yeah,
in
for
the
modern diet, for the whole circumference of just like what you put in your body, and this is just what I've eaten trash, I've drank alcohol, I've drank in excess, I've done the whole thing, I've done it, I've done all that, you know. But if I were to give or just challenge people to try certain things just to see how they feel, one, really try, like if you're buying any food, look at it in added sugar, and try not to buy anything that has any of it. No added sugar. Try to do that. This is like a 3-month challenge. No added sugar, no soda, no sugar in your coffee, no candy or anything like that with dyes in it or red 40 or anything like that. Try not to drink.
Write all those down
You
just
know?
so you have it in front of you.
Yeah.
And then be attentive. Try for
Try it
a
out.
week.
Or a week to a month. See how it feels. The week might be hard because you're going to be going through withdrawals and you're going to feel like shit.
And you're
Yeah,
waiting.
yeah.
And that's the point. That's the moment where if you hit that day 10
Yeah.
to like day 14,
Yeah.
and you're kind of over the hump.
2 weeks. If you can make it 2 weeks, then go for a month. See how you feel. See if you can do it for 3 months. See how you feel. See how it goes. And take pride in the fact that you're trying something for yourself because people are gonna question you. Because guess what happens? When you start to do something for yourself or you want to improve yourself, it makes other people uncomfortable. It really, I see it all the time with alcohol. Why aren't you drinking? It's way less prevalent now because people just know I don't drink. So I don't even get offered it, which is fine. And people like, but dude, yesterday was hilarious. Like when you do it, it actually cracks me up because people are like, "No, what are you doing? Like you go out with us. You are part of this."
Do you not
group."
understand that I literally grabbed this?
I saw you,
And I went right here, and I faked like I sipped it.
Yeah.
And like, here's the thing, like, I love tequila. I know tequila. I smelled it.
Yeah,
I got every note I needed.
you're like, "This is all I need."
But yeah,
But it's what's wild about it is when you do this, alcohol is this very strange thing. When you start to implement these habits, it makes people question it makes them feel like
Their own
they're
habits,
doing
yeah.
something wrong, and then they get uncomfortable. rather than just being like, oh, good for you, cool. Because I just feel like deep down everybody kind of knows.
Oh, for sure.
Everybody kind of knows. Like,
but if we all lied to each
all
other together,
yeah,
if we can just stay around this little fire.
Yeah, let's all be
But
deceitful.
if we can stay around this fire and we can all kind of get a little warm from it and share it, but if we kind of hike through the darkness a little bit, right over that little hill, kind of go over, you're going to see at the bottom all these little fires that you can set up by yourself and have other people. Like there's so much if you kind of get over that little hill, that little darkness, and that satisfaction when you're descending downwards and you're getting normalized when you got over the hump and you're like, okay, this is a good lifestyle, good lifestyle.
You know what cracks me up?
Tell me something that cracks
you up. This is what cracks me up. So the more you start to, what you do, you start to identify as. So right now, you enjoy alcohol. I enjoy a glass of wine, but I'm not a drinker. So when I go out and have steak and Shelby's like, let's get a bottle, we'll split it. We'll have yeah, sure. I get it, but I'm not a drinker. this is a treat for me. Once you identify as something, once you really become.
That's like, my end goal.
You identify. I'm not a drinker. I appreciate good alcohol. I'm just not a drinker. But every once in a while, I know my alcohol. And I'm talking as you. I can get a nice tequila and really appreciate it.
That's the goal I want to be.
Right. You can get there.
Oh, 100%. And it's. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you go.
No, you go.
Okay. Yeah. It's just the foundation of what I have around me and this lifestyle that I'm creating because it's getting easier to find that goal by staying stronger to my sleep, my fitness, where it's like, okay, I work out 5 days a week with Marston. We do Tuesday through Saturday. I don't drink the nights right before. Have I slipped up, had a beer here or there? Sure. Have I been 3 out of 5 successful? Yeah, it's been really good. Now, next week, 4 out of 5 successful. Maybe a month later, I'll start being 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5. And then next thing you know, I'm like, you know what? It feels really good owning that it's a responsibility to myself and to my gym partner and to the goals that we're striving for, that I don't have alcohol consumption the days before. Now I've created this beautiful habit. Then it's like, you know what? I don't really need any alcohol the other 2 days. Or it's, hey, I'm going out for... a nice dinner with the wife. Let's get a bottle of wine. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so what I'm doing right now are little wins instead of drastic cutoffs.
For sure.
And it's been really helpful. And how many times have I fallen down? Honestly, I've been reflecting my drinking habits for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So that puts me 2 years into legally drinking, 23.
Yeah.
And I'm at the strongest I've ever been with it now.
You're crushing it.
And it's really good. Now that I've heard a lot of other friends talk about habits with drinking and how important it is with dieting and modern diet today, I'm an alcoholic. Now, does that mean I drink like heavy alcoholics? No. Does that mean that I enjoy beers twice a week? Yeah, and that's being an alcoholic.
I also think it's the craving, the need for
the alcohol.
It's
the sugar, dude. I keep going back. It's just the addictive sugars that are also in there.
Alcohol itself is addictive.
100%.
It's a drug.
That's why it's double dipping.
Yeah.
It's double dipping with the drug and sugar. That's why it has Viper grips. But yeah, I mean, enough with the alcohol.
You're good. To summarize, the one thing I thought was funny. I'm going to start with what you said about alcohol. I think what would be really interesting is like you just framed it as like, I work out with you 5 days a week, so on those days of the week I don't drink. As if you weren't working out with me, you would be drinking.
I know.
Whereas
that's the problem.
If you frame it the other way, where you say, "Well, I work out 5 days a week, so I want to give myself 1 day a week to try alcohol."
Sure.
You know, it's not a big deal. It's just more of like you're still identifying.
It goes the power of the word, though, too.
Yeah,
the power of how you talk to yourself.
Right, because you're telling yourself that if you weren't with me, it'd be okay for you to drink that day. Because so you're still identifying as like, well, if I wasn't with Marston, you know, I would probably be drinking. And a way to flip it on myself is, well, if I wasn't writing or if I wasn't prioritizing growing to a different person, I'd still be playing League of Legends all day. Rather than like, no, I don't play anymore. Every once in a while, if I have the time, which now I rarely do, I'll play some PS5. But I don't have the time. So what ends up happening is you will give yourself this like maybe a day or two with Megan where you're like, you know what, I want to enjoy some wine with Megan. I'm going to appreciate some alcohol on these days. But the majority of my life, I don't drink it. Rather than I would be drinking it, but I'm with somebody. So that's one thing.
Heard.
So it's not anything it's not that important. It's just something I
It's
noticed.
just the power of
It's
talking
just
to
the
yourself.
way- exactly. It's how you talk to yourself and what you do. And then with something that I find is funny is that as you implement these habits, right? As you start to eat healthy, as you become this person that is identified as that person is taking care of themselves, it's almost like, so anytime somebody eats something next to me, they're like, don't judge me. And I'm like, I'm just working. Like, I'm not judging you. Marcin, don't judge. Is this healthy? What should I eat? It's just interesting. It's like you're focused on yourself, but then it's like because people know that you're not doing something, they're like, don't look at me. As if they know already. You know, if you're asking me the question, I think you know. You know? Don't judge me. What are you eating? Is something gross? Like, all right, like, when I get 2 pizzas, do you think I give a shit if anybody's judging me? No, I just eat what you want to eat. Mm-hmm. This is just us providing information and my viewpoint.
We're in our own conversation.
Exactly.
And people are just joining it.
You know, and it's tough because I think that's this weird thing with alcohol or just bad things in general. It's like, because it's so prevalent, it's almost like people need a reason not to. But it's like weird. They don't want to be the weird one. That's why they have support
groups and everything.
Yeah, they don't want to be the weird one. I don't want to be the one that's not drinking, but everybody's drinking. Everybody's drinking. I don't want to be the one that gets the soda with lime. But there's also something that I found almost empowering about it. No, I'll get the soda and lime. I'm going to feel fine. Mm-hmm. I'm going to wake up ready to go. Not going to have a headache. And
accomplishments.
Yeah, and also look at what terrible eating or bad dieting or just heavy drinking does to somebody over years. Like, how do alcoholics look? Not great. Mm-hmm. You know, so there's a lot that goes into it. So I guess for my own concluding statements is just really, I mean, you don't have to live your life, do what you want to do, but if you're curious and you want to just kind of see how it feels, try to play around with it, almost like dials on a keyboard or just pretend like you're living in your own RPG game and you're the character. How can you implement how you do certain things? Like if you exercised or if you did this or if you did that, try new things and see how it feels. Go for long walks, drink more water, try electrolytes. You know, I'm not talking about guzzling Gatorades, but just like, you know, try some electrolytes out.
Gatorades.
You know?
I can't even get them started on Gatorades.
I mean, there's so much. The dieting and nutrition goes so it can go on forever, and I know we already talked people's ear off, but it's just such an interesting topic. And I would just love for people to play around with it rather than people being like, oh, that's too hard, I don't care. You know?
My conclusion in a sense is more like it's just the little wins.
Yeah.
It's little habits of doing those electrolytes, little habits of less sugars, little habits of prioritizing non-processed foods, taking the time to look at the ingredients inside of there, educating yourself. Mm-hmm. Don't walk at it blind. Don't lie to yourself. Love yourself. Understand. Love
yourself. I love that.
Yeah, love yourself, man. Don't. I like the thought of thinking about food consumption as fuel to this beautiful game of life. Mm-hmm. Now, I enjoy flavor, and you can take the time to enjoy flavor, but if you kind of taper back and have a little bit more healthier aspect, do the 80-20, have that one nice little meal.
Yeah.
It's just simple with little wins. Don't do it all at once. Get your blood tested one day.
I do like the blood. Shelby and I are actually going to get our blood tested.
Just so you know where you are. Just to be aware 100%. Of what's internal.
Yeah, 100%. I do like the little wins, you know, loving yourself. And, I mean, for someone like Shelby, she loves food. So having a good relationship with food is healthy. But spend the time to care about what you're putting in your body and then make meals that not only are going to taste good, but are going to sustain you and be beneficial. Mm-hmm. You know, care enough to put the right stuff in your body that you've put love into, and that tastes good.
Oh, man.
So,
good.
Easy peasy.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
Another one in the books, number 6.
That's it.